as you can see, I'm dressed for the occasion, and it's going to be good because obviously a lot of my content's based on mental health, so we're going to spread awareness, but yeah, we're going to see how it goes.
Right, more passion, more passion, more passion, more energy, more energy, more.
We're back again. Today we've got a special guest, we've got Natalie. So yeah, I guess just tell us about yourself and what you do and stuff like that.
So I'm Natalie Lawrence. I am a life coach and hypnotherapist. I absolutely love my job because I love helping people realise that everything you need is within you. You just need to know how to get it out and make it accessible.
Yeah, 100%. I think like the main reason we're doing this is obviously to try and encourage people to talk to people like you and things, because there are a lot of people that are scared, that they don't trust the therapy and stuff. But I mean, for me, it really helped. Obviously, when I was 13, 14, and I was struggling. I had depression for the first time. I had you guys know, you saw my first documentary. A counsellor, I think the right word, counsellor, and that helped massively, because I think it is easier sometimes to talk to a stranger than like your family and that. But I guess for you, like, what is the motivation? Like, why did you choose to do stuff like this?
So me personally, one of the biggest reasons I chose to do this profession is because I, like you Billy, struggled massively with my mental health when I was a teenager, had an eating disorder, but I didn't actually come out and say that and how much I was struggling till I was 38, and that was mainly because I had what is known as a nervous breakdown and tried to end my life one day, and that made me realise that I needed to just tell somebody that I can't keep this in anymore.
Obviously, one of the reasons I contacted you as well was because you told me before you work a lot with like teenagers, or you want to work a lot with teenagers, and obviously a lot of people that watch my stuff are my age, teenagers. But so I was like, where did it start for you? Like, why did you want to work with teenagers? Why did you want to just focus on that sort of like role and age group instead of someone more like older or sort of your age? You know what I mean?
Oh, that's a great question. I think for me, because obviously getting the help and talking to somebody when I was obviously 38 and I was at my lowest point, I felt like now I've wasted a lot of my years, because if I'd have accessed that when I was a teenager, like, who knows what I would be doing now. I mean, obviously I'm very glad that that's part of my chapter in my book, so to speak, now that I went through that as a teenager. But if I had the mindset that I have now at 43, I could have done a lot more.
I think a lot of it is mindset, because like when you are going through something, I think a lot of people are scared to come to someone like you, because they just don't want to push themselves. And I think in life, like from what I've learned, is if you won't get anywhere if you don't push it. You've got to go into uncomfortable situations. So you've got to sort of like, I don't know what the right word is, but like go out your comfort zone sort of thing.
Yeah,
to get anywhere.
Massive.
And like when I because I was still in school when a lot of our stuff happened, so I just had someone pick me up from school or during a lesson and talk to me, and that sort of, it pushed me to get somewhere. And I've ended up doing all of this stuff, and it's just like, I wouldn't have done that if I didn't initially just say, fuck it, I'm going to not let this get to me. And most people just sit there and do nothing, so I think it's like, you just got to push yourself out there more,
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Like, I think for me, even now, like every day, I think to myself, like, what can I do to get uncomfortable and push myself out of my comfort zone? Because I used to be quite shy, but I realised...
so did I,
the more I've started... I used to say I was shy. I wouldn't say I was shy now, but that's been through getting uncomfortable, really, and being like, well, I don't like doing that thing, but I'm going to do it, because once I did it, I would think, well, what else can I do that I don't like doing?
It's interesting, because like, you say the word shy, like, I would have never been able to do anything like this. Like, ask anyone that knew me when I was like 34. I used to be that kid in school. I used to sit there and be quiet, and now I want to do stuff like this.
A lot of it is just accessing like your limiting beliefs. So you said that you used to be quite shy at school, but is that because you believed that you was quite shy and you didn't want to...
I don't know, it's just so what would your message be to anyone maybe watching this that is maybe a bit and ah about like contacting someone or just getting in touch with someone, what would you say to?
I would say that, you know, if you are uncomfortable about, you know, talking to somebody, find someone that you do feel comfortable talking to. And even if you just say, you know, for me, I just said to my sister one day, I need to talk to somebody because I feel like I don't want to be here. And me just, you know, she was always the confident one, but telling her that one day got her to like, say, right, well, I'll help you find, you know, just somebody helping you access the right people, or, you know, just knowing somebody as well, you know, because sometimes if you could say to somebody, I'd like to talk to someone, and they're like, oh, I know somebody.
There is always someone there.
Yeah, exactly, but it's just, for me, the biggest thing is just saying, I need help and I need to talk to somebody.
Just being honest with yourself.
Being vulnerable, because I think in society now, we're vulnerable is like, don't be vulnerable, don't show that's a weakness. It's actually a massive strength to be vulnerable and say.
Yeah, but there's loads of different ways you can do it. Like you can text, like you can have text, you can Zoom,
exactly.
like you do Zoom calls that you can do. Because some people are maybe scared to like face to face. You can do. There's loads of different ways to do it, but I think it's just about recognising yourself that you're not right and then that you need someone.
Yeah.
So it does make a difference. So.
Exactly.
Because obviously, I imagine when you was younger, like my age, you didn't see you was going to do anything like this. But yeah, what did you want to do originally, and then how did it all sort of like come together?
So originally, I've always been a nanny, so like looking after children, which I love. But I think it wasn't till like I went to my lowest point and I started to like.
You want to do something like.
Yeah, and then I realised how much it like massively helped me, and it's literally changed my life. Like I can't tell you how passionate I am about it. It made me think like. And then I just realised that I was really good at listening and talking to people, and I started thinking, I feel like I could actually do this and hopefully make a difference to other people.
It is weird how like things turn out. Like I was saying to my mum the other day, like I was doing football coaching at college and stuff, and now I end up working with SEN kids in like schools full time, and it's like when you're like 11, 12, you don't think, oh, I'm going to work in a school.
Yeah.
Like it's weird, isn't it? You never thought you would end up doing something like this.
Yeah.
But it's mad. But when you're in a Zoom call, or you've got a client that comes up to you, what's your first step with them? What happens?
So the first step for me is I like to do like a consultation with them, which I normally say is half an hour, but it never really is half an hour. It's once you get someone to open up and start talking. But it's just very much like I just want to see if I can help you, and I think that's really important as well. Then to sort of say to someone, well, I can definitely help you. You know, do we match each other in the respects of like, do you feel comfortable talking to me? Because I think that's massively important.
I think a lot of people are like, do forget that like people like you, like therapists and stuff, they're just normal people. Like they're just like you're just a normal like mum. You've got kids. You've got like a house. You've got pets. Like you're just a normal person. I think people get overwhelmed by the therapist like title. Stuff like that, and have you watched After?
I have.
Have you seen the Ricky Gervais talking to a therapist, and he's just completely useless. He's just taking the piss out of it.
Yeah. I
think people see stuff like that online and think like it puts them off, but it's just like we're just normal people. Like again, I'm just a normal person that just can't come through so much, and I've done all of this stuff like charity matches, documentaries and stuff. But I'm just a normal teenager. And I always say, if I can do any of this, then anyone can.
Yeah.
Like I went to school, I go to work now, I'm just a normal guy, but because I've got all these numbers and views and that, people sort of forget that.
Yeah,
and I can't imagine what it's like with you guys. Obviously, you have so many clients and stuff, and people just think, it just puts you off, but we're just normal people, like, it's not anything more than that.
Plus, I think it's important to say, just because you're a hypnotherapist or a life coach, doesn't mean that you still have things that trigger you. But it's just important that you're honest and say, I felt you're not going to feel happy every day, even if you've done a lot of work like you have, Billy, as well, like on yourself, and you've managed to work through stuff. You still get days where you get upset by things, and you're just normal. It's just normal.
One last question. Who inspires you? Is there anyone that inspires you to do this stuff? Famous, non-famous that inspires you?
Non-famous this sounds really cliche, but my son Alfie is my biggest inspiration because...
I love Alfie.
Yeah, you know Alfie, but he is, for me, like when I was going through my struggles, like seeing how he saw me just really like not, you know, myself, and now when he sees me, he's so like, I love that you're just so happy all the time, like him to, and also like he's had his struggles, but you know, also just to, you know, we inspire each other, I think, but he inspires me massively.
I think family is like, because I look up to my mum and dad quite a lot, because my mum especially, she's had so much stress, she still does, but like,
being mum's stressful, right?
Yeah, but when everything happened, like having everything that happened to her, and then obviously us three don't help with the brothers, but then my dad as well, like obviously they're so inspirational, and then you look around like your family and your friends. At the end of the day, when everything does happen, when no matter how high you are, how low you are, your friends and family are there, they're you, they know you more than anyone. So they are, that's very nice. But what about, are there any people maybe like famous people you look up to, or?
I think I don't really know. There's so many different famous people that I think it depends, like on the day who inspires me. You know, like sometimes I'm like, you know, Oprah Winfrey sometimes inspires me, or
No idea who that is, but
I think I get inspired more about, you know, like I think you're very inspiring as well, Billy, because you know, like at your age to speak up about this sort of thing and not think, oh, because although we live in a world now where you've got to be, you know, quite close and I'm fine and all of that, like, I find that inspiring because when I was a teenager, I was so, like, frightened to say.
I think it's just, I don't know, like, because people, like, I've been through so much, and I know, obviously now when I've done these documentaries and videos and stuff, I get messages all the time, like even like today I've had a few from people that I barely even know, asking for help, and I think that is like, knowing that I do that is amazing, and that's why I want to keep doing stuff like this, because it helps, but guys, thank you so much for watching. Shout out to Natalie as well. I'm going to leave all the links and stuff in the description. Hopefully this opened up a few eyes and sort of got people more with an idea of what a therapist is and how much they actually do help. And it's mad. Like when I was 13, 14, I used to have so much anxiety and so much depression and stuff. I never thought I'd ever be able to do stuff like this. Like back then I could barely string a conversation along with someone, let alone film a video of a therapist, do all these documentaries and stuff like that. So I'm fucking proud. And on to the next.